Every big revolution in retail, it always starts quietly, doesn't it? It's never the big flashy announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking about, the first time a credit card number was typed into a website or when a browser cookie started tracking you. It was subtle.
And if the sources we've been looking at are on the right track, today's quiet spark isn't some new gadget. It's something much, much simpler. It's basically a message typed into a chat window.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Because that simple message, something like, find me a dress under $150 that ships overnight and, matches those shoes I bought last month, that's the start of something the industry is calling agentic commerce. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to figure out what that actually is, why it's being called this invisible turning point, and what key infrastructure is being laid down, like right now.
Right. And at its core, agentic commerce is, it's a world where you, the consumer, you basically hand over the entire shopping job to an AI agent, an autonomous one.
You delegate it.
You delegate it completely. These agents, they navigate all the choices, they negotiate options for you, optimize the outcome, and this is the critical part, they execute the purchase. All on their own.
That word delegation, that's the key here, isn't it? We're moving away from actively scrolling and clicking through websites.
Right.
To just stating an intent. You just say what you want and the machine goes and does it. But, why is this different? We hear about tech trends all the time. What's the scale here?
The scale is honestly staggering. That's why this is getting so much attention. McKinsey put out this analysis, and they're predicting that by 2030, up to $1 trillion in U.S. retail could be handled not by people clicking buy.
$1 trillion?
$1 trillion.
Yeah.
Orchestrated entirely by their AI agents making the purchases on their behalf.
Wow. Okay, $1 trillion. That's not a feature update you roll out on a Thursday. That is a fundamental rewiring of how money moves. So if agents are doing the buying, what happens to my experience as a shopper?
Well, the experience it changes completely. Yeah. The sources we've looked at are really clear on this. The whole traditional retail funnel. The browsing, the scrolling, comparing a dozen tabs.
Gone.
It becomes obsolete for the human. Your agent does all that heavy lifting. You're not the shopper anymore. You're the intent setter.
Yeah.
And maybe the final approver.
I can definitely see the appeal there, especially for things that are a huge pain, like booking complicated trips or finding some really niche product. But if the agent is always negotiating, always optimizing, doesn't that make the whole process fluid, like no more fixed prices?
That's exactly it. The whole commerce process becomes rewritable by the agent in real time.
Yeah.
But before an agent can even shop, it has to be able to do something else first. And it's fascinating because the first real clues for this didn't come from retail tech. They came from AI labs and payment networks.
It's like building the power grid for a city that hasn't even been planned yet. I know we've seen MasterCard and Microsoft looking into this idea of payment agents.
Yes, and these are so much more than just a digital wallet.
Right.
These are autonomous agents, and their whole job is to solve the biggest barrier, which is trust and security. They can validate your identity. They can authorize spending, but only within the rules you set.
Like, only spend $500 on groceries this month.
Exactly. And complete the transaction in a way that's totally auditable. The guardrails are built in from the start.
So why start with payments? Why not start with, say, product discovery? That seems more fun.
Because payment is the moment of truth. It's the point of commitment, and it has the most friction. If you can prove that an agent can safely handle your money, your identity, your spending rules, then you've demonstrated the reliability you need for everything else.
I get it. The logic is, if an agent can safely pay, it can safely shop.
You've got it. Without that secure foundation, the trillion-dollar idea is just, it's science fiction.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly for the tech side. This whole shift is creating what some are calling a quiet gold rush. We're seeing players like OpenAI getting heavily involved.
They started with those experiments inside ChatGPT, right? Showing that a user could go from a simple question to discovering a product, selecting it, and checking out.
Without ever seeing a traditional website.
Exactly. It proved that the surface area of commerce is kind of collapsing inward. It's moving into the conversation.
Yeah.
Your storefront isn't a URL anymore. It's the chat box.
But the real game changer wasn't just the chatbot. It was the infrastructure move they made after.
You're talking about the Agentic Commerce Protocol, the ACP.
Yes. This wasn't some big, flashy press release, but our sources are treating it like a truly foundational moment, almost like standardizing the width of railway tracks.
It is absolutely foundational. OpenAI, along with partners like Stripe and some big merchants, they quietly open-sourced it. And
Yeah.
think about why that's so important. If I send my agent to buy from your store, how does my agent know how to talk to your inventory system?
Right.
How does it handle a negotiation? What happens if it fails? How does it know the transaction is secure?
If every single merchant used a different language, the whole system would just grind to a halt. It's too much friction.
Precisely. The ACP solves that. It's an open standard, a common grammar for AI buying. It defines everything: the data structures, the security handshakes, the terms for negotiation. It's the trust layer that lets this scale across millions of merchants.
That really clarifies the jump from just a cool feature to actual infrastructure. Okay, so let's turn to the company that seems to be building the most detailed blueprint for this world, Microsoft.
Yeah, their plan is, it's fascinating. It really shows how they see commerce evolving through like 4 stages at once. You go from interfaces
Uh-huh.
to interactions to intentions, and then finally to full autonomy. And they're building tools for every single stage.
And they've laid it out as this constellation of, I think, 7 building blocks. Let's not just list them all. Let's hit on the 2 or 3 that seem the most disruptive. Starting on the customer-facing side, the personal shopping agent.
So this is that conversational engine we were talking about. But it's way beyond just filtering by size or color. It's designed to understand really complex, multi-part intent.
Give me an example.
Okay, so you could say, I need groceries for my keto diet, find the lowest price across 3 different local stores, and schedule the delivery for when my daughter gets home from school.
Wow.
It takes that entire complex thought and turns it into a real executable plan.
That's a universal way from just typing keto snacks into a search bar. But for an agent to process all that data, the data itself has to be different.
Which brings us to what I think is the most radical piece of this puzzle: NLWE, Natural Language Web.
This is this is revolutionary. For the last 30 years, we've built websites for human eyes. We make them look pretty with HTML. NLWB is the idea of rebuilding a website's front end so that it's perfectly structured to be read by any agent.
So it's like turning the visual part of the web into a giant API for language.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Can you give me a simple analogy? What's the real difference? Okay, think about a PDF versus a really well-structured Excel spreadsheet. Both have the same information. A human can read the PDF just fine, but a computer has to struggle and guess to pull out structured data.
Right.
An NLWEB-enabled site is the Excel spreadsheet. The product specs, the shipping rules, the return policy, it's all laid out cleanly so an agent can parse it instantly and accurately. No guesswork.
So if your site isn't built for NLWB, an agent can't shop there properly, and you basically become invisible to that $1 trillion of commerce.
You're invisible. And to manage all this, they're also building out the whole ecosystem. You've got the Microsoft Agent Framework and the Azure AI Foundry, which is basically the factory floor where companies can build their own agents.
And they need a way to find those agents, which is where the Agentic marketplace comes in.
Yep, that's the app store for this new agentic economy. A retailer can go there and find a ready-to-go agent for, say, inventory optimization and just plug it in. It democratizes the whole thing.
And this all ties into their internal tools, too, like the store operations agent for workers on the floor, and it's all integrated into Dynamics 365. It really is a full-stack approach.
It is. All 7 pieces point to the same conclusion. Commerce starts with intent, and the execution has to be autonomous.
Which brings us to the big implications for everyone else. We've established this isn't just another feature, it's a true market shift, like browsers or mobile apps were. So what does this do to the balance of power for brands?
The main challenge, the thing that everyone needs to grasp, is that you are no longer competing for human clicks. You're not trying to get eyeballs. When an agent handles discovery, you are competing for agent preference.
And that is a tectonic shift. A person might be swayed by, I don't know, a celebrity ad or really cool packaging. What sways an agent?
Data. An agent is swayed by the quality of your data, the speed of your transactions, the clarity of your terms, and how well you integrate with protocols like ACP. It's all about optimization.
So if your prices are a little bit lower, but your inventory data is a mess and your return policy is buried,
the agent will pick your competitor, who might be slightly more expensive but has perfect data and 0 transactional friction. Every single time.
so brands have to completely rethink loyalty. You can't just offer points to me, the human. You have to design a loyalty program that appeals to the AI that's doing my shopping.
Absolutely. They have to restructure how they present product data. They need to optimize their promotions not for human attention, forget the flashing banner ad, but for machine attention, making sure the value is clear and verifiable instantly.
The big test for every single brand is going to be asking the question, Can an autonomous agent find us, understand us, trust us, and buy from us, all without a human ever getting involved?
And if the answer to that is no, the sources are pretty blunt. That brand risks becoming invisible in this new era, no matter how beloved they are by humans today.
That's a terrifying thought for established players, but it must create huge opportunities for startups. Where are the gaps? Where will the next giants be built?
You just have to look at every point of friction in that agent-to-retailer handshake. We're going to see huge companies emerge in agent orchestration platforms, in services that normalize product catalogs across all retailers.
Making them all speak the same language.
Exactly. And new companies focus purely on payment consent and spend control, just for agents.
And of course, the most obvious one is building on top of NLWB.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The people who crack agent-first SEO are going to be the new winners. If the mobile era gave us, there's an app for that, this agentic era, the mantra is going to be, there's an agent for that.
This has been a really thorough look at the foundations being laid. What's so powerful about it is realizing this isn't science fiction, this is infrastructure. It's being built right now, quietly, in millions of these tiny handoffs from a person to an agent.
And that quiet evolution brings us to, I think, the final provocative idea from all this. The future of retail isn't going to belong to the companies that build the most beautiful online stores or even the ones with the best sales.
It's going to belong to those who build the best systems of intent.
A system of intent. It just completely changes the focus of a business. It's not about marketing and display anymore. It's about making sure your underlying logic and data are perfect for an autonomous system to consume.
And for you, listening to this, just think about it for a second. If you handed over all your purchasing to an agent, what would you tell it to prioritize? Would it be value, ethics, speed, brand loyalty?
And how does that choice change the very definition of value for a retailer? Because in this new trillion-dollar market, your most important customer, it isn't just the shopper anymore, it's the shopper's agent.